So in this video, we are going to talk about Kundalini, what Kundalini is, how it is performed, the dangers of it, and the benefit from it. There's so much talk about Kundalini going on in the spiritual realm right now, and lots of people don't know what it is. They don't know how to properly do it. They think that they're trained, yet they haven't had the proper training. A lot of people think that it's something that is very sexual. They think that it's harmful and hurtful. So we're going to clear some of that up. First of all, what is Kundalini? Well, Kundalini is when we stimulate mind, body, spirit all in one. And so all encompassing energies come together to form one unity, one place. And when they do that, we tap into the chakra system. So we got our 7 layers of chakras within our human body. We have our crown, our third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and then our root chakra. And what we are doing as energetic healers or energetic workers is we're actually tapping into all of the chakra systems all at once. And what we're doing is we are filling all of them full of energy, but we are also filling the body. We're tapping into the actual iron within our blood cells. We're tapping into the plasma within our blood also. And so with that iron and with the plasma, we create an electromagnetic field that the physical body responds to. And mentally, we prepare ourselves by going through different steps in your life. So prior to what you guys are seeing now, me and this gentleman had gone through his sadness, his anger, his happiness, his joy in his life. So we went through a process of actually going through the emotions, because that's one of the most important things about Kundalini is we are getting out any trauma. We're getting rid of any energies that are no longer serving for our soul. We're letting it out. We're releasing it. And as you, the client, go ahead and release that energy, then you have an energetic worker there that's just pulling that energy from you and giving it back to the universe. The universe does what it needs to do with it. Some work with angels, some work with spirit guides. I work with angels and spirit guides, and so I let them take on a lot of that energy. So prior to, like I said, all of this, we went through the series of releasing some emotions that were very negative feeling. Anything fear, shame, guilt, sadness, anger, pride, any of those feelings, we had to release and let go, because we had to amplify the body and get it to a place where it was functioning at a high vibration. We stimulated the mind by going through all of those different memories and the things that they've gone through. We stimulated the body, like I said, with electromagnetic, and now we're working on that actual chakra system. Now, what I did, before this video really started, and what you weren't seeing, is that I was actually sitting at the feet. And while I was sitting at the feet, I have one hand that emits the light and one hand that emits the dark. And most of the time, you're going to do this with the serpents or the dragons. And the reason that you do that is because God said to Moses, when Moses put his staff down, the carrier of the 2 snakes will never see poison, and they will be clean, and the snakes will take the venom from them. This is why we have the medical sign that we do with the staff and the snakes going up. Also in Kundalini, we see the staff and the snakes going up, because the light one and the dark one, when they're put together, will actually eat or take away the extra energy that is laying there. So, the white snake eats the dark, and the dark eats the extra light. And that's what's actually happening, so that we have that full balance in there. Now, when we put those serpents at the bottom, or those colors at the bottom of the feet, we really need to make sure that they are in an equal place, that the dark never gets ahead of the light and the light never gets ahead of the dark, because then that would throw the person off of balance. So we really need to energetically know where we're at and where the person's at, and pay attention to all of that as we are going through this process. A lot of people will say that we really need to pay attention to the breath, and that it's so important in Kundalini to pay attention to the breath. In my practice, is actually more hurtful to pay attention to the breath, and the reason being is that we want the spirit, the mind, and the body to be into a place of equality, and we want to see every single person find that balance. And so if we are paying attention and our mind's paying attention to, we need to breathe in, we need to breathe out, we need to breathe in, we need to breathe out, then we are putting ourselves into a place of control. We are trying to control that energy, control the breath, control how the energy flows in and out. And we're paying more attention to the human side of us versus the spirit side. Spirit will breathe through you and for you. There will be times when you're because the energy is going really fast, and then there's going to be other times when you are completely one with the energy and you don't need any breath at all, because spirit and the energy is breathing for you. And we as energy workers just need to make sure that the person is in the right mind and in the right place in doing this. Now, what we're doing here is we are actually moving all of the energy up from one side to another. So if you think of the person as a tree, because Kundalini likes the tree of life a lot, we have at the base all of the root, and at the top we have all of the connections to the cosmos and to the air and everything up there. So we start from the bottom and we push it all the way up, and we push it out the throat because we want that energy to come out the throat. We don't want that bad energy to come out the head, because then that'll hurt our crown and gunk up the crown, and it'll kind of get stuck there. So if we can have the person, you know, as they need to, open up their mouth and push that out. So we're going to push that out the throat. We're going to push, you know, those serpents or the dragons, whatever you use, or just the light and the dark, out through the throat. And that way they don't get coiled or stuck up in the head there. Now, you know, lots of people think of serpents as being a bad thing, but if you actually look into Kundalini, if you look into Moses in the Christianity, in the Bible, it actually says that those that hold the two snakes will not see poison, and they will be able to raise the dead, they will be able to heal, they will be able to bite the head off of a snake and actually suck the venom out and never die. These are very, very, very safe, very, very sacred serpents that we're dealing with. Now, sometimes as we're pushing that energy up, you're going to see them kind of coil around in the area. Right now it's coiling around in his stomach, and that tells me that he has a lot of energy there that needs to be taken care of. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of bringing them to like a little like a snake a snake guide. I don't know exactly what they're called, but those people that play the nice flutes and stuff to get the snakes and stuff going. This is kind of what I'm doing with my energy. As I see that they're coiling, I see that they found a spot that just has a lot of energy there. So he's holding in his emotions here. And so what I'm doing is I'm just holding space for them, making sure once again that dark and that light don't try to guide through each other. I'm checking his entire body. I'm going from the top all the way to the bottom. I'm allowing that energy to flow. I'm allowing that movement to kind of break off, and I'm waiting for him to release. And right now he's starting the process of releasing his energy, of going through his trauma. And as he's going through that, you know, I'm holding that space for them, and now I'm going to release it. So now I'm releasing all of that negative energy, all of those negative feelings that he no longer needs, and I'm placing them back to the universe. I'm going back into there, and I am then going to put the yin yang energy within him. I'm looking at his mandalas, I'm looking at his colors, and making sure that everything is balanced and everything is good within his system, and I'm giving him back that positive energy that he really needs. Now, the reason that people go through shaking and such great movement when we're going through Kundalini is we are igniting the entire system. All of your neurons throughout your entire body are lighting up. They're all feeling it. All of the blood circulation is going. People will get red in the skin. They'll get red in the face, and they'll get to a place of extreme heat within their self too, because that circulation is just going. his process of jolting and releasing is just blockages that are just energetically being released. If we look at animals while they're sleeping, or even us ourselves when we've had a bad day and we are going into slumber, a lot of times we'll shake, or we'll see dogs or cats or animals around our house. They shake a lot when they're sleeping, and that's because they're letting their trauma go. They're letting their stress go. They're releasing their blockages of energy so that when they wake up, they're nice and they're fresh and they're new. Now, humans, for whatever reason, we have trained ourselves to hold ourselves still, to hold ourselves tight, to hold this energy in us. And so it is a little hard for us to just release that energy, which is why it's so important in the beginning of these Kundalinis to take the time and walk them through all their energies so that they can come to a place of surrendering to their self. Now, I have gotten so many emails and so many questions asking, for sexual favors and doing Kundalini, or people have said, do I get orgasm? Do I get whatever? The answer is yes and no. First of all, this should never be anything sexual. If you are putting any kind of sexual energy in this at all, then once again we're putting the balance on the physical side, and we will actually hurt the person. This has to be something that is completely mind, body, spirit all together. We cannot look at it anyway. If you do Kundalini properly, you will not lose any fluids. In fact, if you are doing Kundalini and your person loses fluids, that means you gave up your energy and you were paying attention more to the physical side of it than the mental and the spiritual side of it. You're going to see a lot of movement in your practitioner, and this is because energy in itself moves. You'll never see water stand still, or fire stand still, or any kind of air stand still. Even earth, it doesn't sit still. Everything moves, and our energy moves. If you look at a person's auras, it looks like smoke, and it's always constantly moving and going somewhere. If at any time during Kundalini you try to hold that energy and you make it stay still, then you are once again in control of the energy and not allowing it to do what it needs to do. The biggest thing about Kundalini is surrendering to what the energy needs to do, to connecting to all of those forces. We should never call on anybody specifically when we want to do Kundalini. We need to call on ourselves. If you need to. Some people do call on the angels. Some people call on the guides and the spirits. But you can't just be the channel that channels everything for them. You as a human being, if you are the practitioner, really need to pay attention to what is physically happening with this person. Are they safe? Are they okay? Are they breathing when they need to? Some people will just hold their breath for so long that sometimes we need to remind them, it's time to take that little bit of breath. We need to be paying attention that we're not touching them inappropriately. As you can see, I close my eyes. I just skim over the body, about an inch over the body, but we shouldn't go in and physically, touch somebody inappropriately during Kundalini, even if they ask for it. I've had people that have asked, like, can you touch me? Absolutely not. And in fact, if you ask that question at all, I will end the session, because then you're asking for something that is physical instead of something that is not, instead of something that is spiritual. And so we just really need to make sure that we're paying attention to that energy always, that spiritual energy, that energy that's really helping them. We want to raise those vibrations up, up, up. When we do this right, people will usually go to a place where they meet their higher self and they meet their God source. They're in a place where they are with consciousness. They know everything. They'll get flash images of everything that has happened in their life, whatever they need to go through, whatever they need to see. It's pretty much a reset button. If you look into a computer and you hit that reset, or if you know anything about heart and the physical heart, when we have heart attacks or something, what we do is we set those defibs on them, we put the energy through, and we really pump that energy through them. We really want them to feel all sensations within their body. Now, sometimes this causes an energetic orgasm. Like I said, we should never, ever, ever put the person in a place where they are physically losing any fluids. An energetic orgasm just means that our entire neurons throughout our body are lighting up. They're becoming active and they're full of energy, which then puts our self into a euphoric state that then feels maybe like something like an orgasm, but it isn't an actual orgasm. It is just your body igniting on so many different levels. So if somebody is going into an orgasmic state, you want to cut that. You do not want them to continue that, because once again, that puts mind first, or physical body first, and it throws everything off balance. The entire time you need to be making sure that you are paying attention to that body, that mind, and that soul. At this point, right now, we worked from the bottom up, and now we are sending from the top down. So now we're working on that. So we are connecting that crown chakra there to his heart chakra, and we're making sure that his mind is accepting of the energy through his heart. We're putting that through all of his head and his heart, and actually we're running all of that energy down to the spine. I'm just making sure right now that he is in alignment and that all of that energy is going back and forth rather than being chaotic and flowing all over. And so now that he is checked, we're going to go down the spectrum, and we're going to bring down the information that he knew. Now, why this is important is because when we're doing energy work and the person is in a state of Kundalini and they are with their higher power, being themselves or their God or whatever it is, that information is processing at a computer speed. It is so fast, and it's going and it's going and it's going, and they kind of get lost up in their head. So we really want to make sure that during this Kundalini session that we can bring that down so that they can actually learn something from it. Now, many people after going through Kundalini have gone through life-changing moments. Actually, I have not had somebody go through Kundalini and not had some magnificent miracle life change. I mean, I've had people come out and discover they need to go do ministry. They need to go do counseling. I've had a mother who had an autistic child and just knew suddenly what energies she needed to put out to him, and also what medications he had to be on. I've had people drop their job and go to owning their own business because they just suddenly knew. When you can put somebody in a place where their trauma is dropped and that negative energy is dropped, and you can raise them as high as you can to that highest frequency, and you can really get them up there and push them up to that higher consciousness. Like I said, they get into a place where they just know things. You can't hide truth in consciousness. Consciousness will always be there. It will always be doing its own thing. Now, this is funny because he actually has his eyes closed and he's kind of responding the same way that I am, with the hands up in the air. And that is just getting that high vibration, and that's just reaching up, to the cosmos and to that higher consciousness of the brain. Now, if you were to hook somebody up, to electrodes, and check out their brain activity during the Kundalini session, it would actually look a lot like somebody who is on an acid trip or LSD. Their entire brain neurons would be lit up. Their senses are wide open. They smell, they feel, they hear things on a level that is greater than we could ever do in our human state when we are at a place of rest. So, brothers and sisters, this is what Kundalini looks like. And just what I'm doing right now is, like I said, he has these energies that we're really stuck in there, and his emotions that we're really stuck. So I'm just trying to raise that energy, put that up, raise those vibrations so that we can get to a place of enlightenment in the God seed place there, and we can give them support. So you know, when going into Kundalini, anyone can realistically start the Kundalini on their own, which is very, very safe thing to do. If you want to push it a little bit harder, then you get an energy worker in there, and you get them to help you pull the trauma out that you can't pull out. You get them to push you know, that energy back into you, because anytime we take energy out, or anytime that we you know, put energy back into the universe, we always want to put it back into place. And this all comes down to the atoms of the body. We, you know, right now, the state of being that they're in, they are in an ionic state, and their atoms are a little bit split. They're really excited. It's going through a lot of energy right now. And as an energy worker, we need to be very aware of the atoms and being able to put them back. So the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons are all together. But like I said, all of these chakras are really open right now, and all of them are just feeling huge sensations. And what you're seeing in this video, as far as, you know, males go, he's not sexually stimulated. He just has full circulation going, and all of his blood is just pumping and going throughout his body. He's getting blood to the skin in areas that he's never had. You know, people who have diabetes or neuropathy, this is a great treatment for them, because it opens up those veins, it opens up those cells, it opens up a place where they can really start to receive energy, really start to get that energy flowing. People that are stuck in life, that just, you know, spirit isn't moving, spirit isn't going where I want it, I feel really stale in life. This is going to be a great one to get all of that energy going back into the spirit. As I said, the mind acts as though it's on LSD or acid or mushrooms, but it, you know, some kind of hallucinogen. The person is actually experiencing, seeing different colors and lights and you know, different images in their brain. And as they're going through that, you know, their entire brain is in the know. They know they know what they need to do. So anyways, brothers and sisters, this is what Kundalini looks like. And if you are looking to get a session, if you want to try this out at all, then reach us at www.euphoricsource.com. All of our contact information is on there. We're all, you know, email is euphoricsource@yahoo.com. Feel free to have, you know, to ask any questions. You know, feel free to reach out to us, because we really need to educate people. Now, we have a lot of Christians out there, a lot of people that are saying that, you know, this does not lie with Christianity, this does not lie with God. This is the closest to God that you're going to get, and your practitioners should be praying and making sure that the source that they're going through is God's source. And that they don't even start that energy work until they know that they're with that God source. They feel that God wisdom, because you really need to be guided. Also, it talks a lot in Revelations about come to me with your 7 God spirits. It speaks about 20 different places in Revelations about having our 7 spirits clear, which is our 7 chakras, our 7 energies, our energies that connect to God, our crown that connects to our God and our higher self, our third eye that connects to spirit and the things that spirit sees energetically, having the clairvoyance, having, you know, the know-how of reality versus emotion in the throat, so that we can talk and we can communicate and we can self-express. The heart that is for our love and for abundance and financial gains. We also have our solar plexus, that is kind of our God seed, who we are morally, what we are, what we're doing, our life path, our sacral. That's attached to the feminine and the masculine, the yin yang energy. And trust, relationships, emotions are there, and then our root, which is our stability, our safety, and our survival. So when we have come to a place where all of those are balanced, we get to a place where we get to meet God, where we get to meet our higher self. And now maybe we're not meeting God in the sense that we're dying and we get that almighty whatever, but we get bits and pieces, and we definitely feel connected to God. Every single person who has done this Kundalini has felt the huge connection and the huge pull to God. And like I said, you're going to get there. It's going to be a very high frequency. You're resonating at over 1,000 megahertz, which is huge in the human body. And that's why you're having such a reaction. It does feel like electricity is going through your body. You will feel that. And yeah, so this is Kundalini. This is what it looks like. This is what it is. It's wonderful. It's fabulous. It is the quickest, best way to heal anyone through trauma, through physical issues, if they're having problems with their spinal system, or if they're having problems with any kind of circulation issues, just because it really gets down to the core of the body there, and it really ignites everything at once. Now, also, I want to, point out that I keep switching sides from one side to another. And the reason that we want to switch sides is because, once again, it always is about balance. So we want to make sure that we balance that body out. We just don't want to send Kundalini from the feet, or from the left side or the right side. We want to make sure that we're sending it from the feet, the left side, the right side, and the head. And we're really getting that infinity sign going, so that we can really pulsate through that entire body and really make sure that everything is stimulated and everything is going all at once. What I'm doing now is I'm just kind of clearing the energy. I'm making sure that the energy is okay where it's at. I'm picking up any residual energy that he left behind during the session, and I'm just making sure that I clear all of that away and that there's nothing left, so that when he wakes up, when he comes back to, that he comes to a place where he is in the divine, nice energy, and that, he doesn't have any brown or gray or black gunky stuff on him, making sure that all of these energies are flowing through the entire body, and that they're flowing through nice. They're not sticking anywhere. It's not getting stuck anywhere. As we end the session, we want to make sure that all of this energy just flows. And now, as you can see, I can flow through it a lot faster there. And it's just, oh, okay, now we can flow through. Whereas before we kind of got stuck on that solar plexus and sacral area on him because it was getting gunked up. But now we're to a place where we're coming to the end of the session, and just making sure that that energy flows. As you can see, I have my hand down at a root, and I have my hand up at that crown to really make sure that that energy is going. We have those energy serpents, or those that light of the white and that light of that black energy going through right now. And yeah, so this is Kundalini, brothers and sisters, and it's amazing. It's fun. It is the best trauma therapy that I can possibly think for anybody to have, because it just breaks through everything. What you would feel after the session is extreme energy. You feel balanced. You feel relaxed. Later on, you might feel a little bit of emotions for the next 3 days. Lots of emotion, lots of things might come up, things that you haven't thought about before, people you haven't thought about before will come up, and that's just because we broke that loose. So as it breaks loose and it's coming up, to that top part, that trauma up there, we just have a little bit of extra releasing and stuff to do. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for checking out today's video, and I love you dearly, and I hope I taught you something today.